Remember that time Jeremy Lin was genuinely better than Kobe Bryant for a month? Or when Malachi Flynn dropped 50 points in a game? Or how about when Dirk beat LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh in a finals with a 90-year-old Jason Kidd as his second best player? Well, here's NBA moments that I still think feel fake till this day. Like bubble TJ Warren. So TJ Warren, professional bucket getter his entire career. I mean, before the bubble, he was averaging 19 points per game for the Pacers. Still really good. But literally right before that, Phoenix traded him to Indiana and had to attach a first-round pick to get off his contract. Then we get the bubble. Game 1, this guy drops 53 points, 20 of 29 shooting, 9 of 12 from 3. Pacers win. For context, his career average is 14 points per game. He basically quadrupled it in one night. And it doesn't stop. 34 against Washington, 32 against Orlando, 119 points over his first 3 bubble games, 1 turnover for the whole stretch. Then he drops 39 points on the Lakers, the team that wins the title 2 months later. The guy was literally having one of the best scoring stretches ever. Across the 6 Pacer games, he averaged 31 points a game, shot 58% from the field, 52% from 3, and the league notices. TJ Warren comes in 3rd in bubble MVP voting, ahead of Luka. The all-bubble first team, Lillard, Booker, Luka, TJ Warren, James Harden. Giannis and Kawhi are second team, by the way. Then the playoffs hit. Miami sweeps Indiana in the first round. Warren's still solid, but he isn't literally prime MJ anymore. And then right after that, his foot gives out. He fractures his foot, gets surgery, and is out indefinitely. So instead of launching a new level of his career, it just vanishes as fast as it showed up. Shout out bubble TJ Warren, man. What a dog. But what about this one? A 22-year-old Derrick Rose wins the NBA MVP. So here's this. The 2010 NBA MVP voting. Derrick Rose, nowhere to be found. Shout out Steven Jackson and Joe Johnson though. But fast forward literally 1 year, and Derrick Rose is the NBA MVP at 22 years old. The youngest MVP ever. And the thing was, the Bulls weren't crazy good. They went 41-41 2 years in a row. But Rose, he jumps to 25 points, 7.7 assists, 4.1 rebounds a game. Only the 5th player ever to hit 2,000 points, 600 assists, and 300 rebounds in a season, joining Oscar Robertson, John Havlicek, Michael Jordan, and LeBron James. Decent company. Chicago goes from 41 wins to 62, the best record in the NBA. They went 3-0 against the Heat's Big Three that season. Then MVP voting comes out, and it's not close. Rose gets 113 first place votes. Everyone else combined gets 8. He breaks Wes Unsfeld's record of youngest MVP ever, a record that stood for 40 years, and he still holds it till today. The Bulls make the conference finals, go up 1-0 on Miami, and then lose 4 straight and get eliminated. And then Derrick Rose, you know the rest of this story. Just an injured career. Which is why this one really still doesn't feel real. Shout out D Rose, maybe my favorite player ever. But story number 3, a recent one. The New York Knicks win the NBA championship. That still doesn't feel like a real sentence. 53 years since their last title, one of the longest droughts in the league. The last time they won a championship, the first ever mobile call was made. This is what the phone looked like. Since then, Jordan's whole career happened, Kobe's, Duncan's, and the Knicks still didn't win. 99 is their last finals trip. Then, 2026, the Knicks win the Cup, win the East, then the championship. Honestly, this is more so about their playoff run. A 16-3 record, the best point differential in postseason history, 13 straight wins, 46 days without a loss. They sweep Philly, they sweep Cleveland. Then the finals, Knicks win games 1 and 2, both on the road, both after trailing double digits. Then game 3, the Spurs win. Then the Knicks, they fall down 27 at half in game 4. Teams that were down 27 are 0-58 all time. The Knicks come back and win somehow. OG tips the game winner in with 1.2 seconds left, the largest comeback in finals history. Then game 5, down 16 in San Antonio, Brunson drops 45, a new Knicks final record, and the Knicks win the title 53 years later. that run still feels fake. I don't even know. This was an actual scoreboard in their game versus the Hawks, by the way. Story 4. Klay Thompson, 60 points in 29 minutes. So December 5th, 2016, Warriors versus Pacers. Klay scores 60 points and never plays a second of the fourth quarter. 40 points by halftime, 21 of 33 shooting, 8 for 14 from 3, 10 for 11 from the line. And of course, a famous stat attached to this game is 60 points on 11 dribbles. This guy didn't even put the ball on the floor, just catch, shoot. And he scored 60 in 29 minutes. The Warriors are up 35 when he checks out for good, and it wasn't even his first crazy scoring outburst of that season. This guy already scored 37 points in one quarter. I remember watching this, nobody wanted Kerr to pull Klay, but the game was just too much of a blowout. He had to. Klay could have went for like 90. He checked out with an entire quarter to play. There's nothing really else to say. One of the most underrated games ever. But what about this one? The time the Bucks completely reached on Thon Maker in the draft. So Thon Maker was genuinely the definition of a mystery. He was this high school prodigy, got approval from the NBA somehow to skip college and go to the NBA. I don't know. But nobody really knew what to think of him. I mean, his high school highlights are absurd. But since he was such a mystery, you look up mock drafts from 2016. Here, they have him at 43. This draft has him at 27. Again, 27th. 29th here. He wasn't really projected to go high. So where did the Bucks take him? 10th. Literally one pick later was Domantas Sabonis. Siakam was later in this draft. The Thon Maker reach didn't really make sense in the moment and doesn't even more now. And the funniest part, Milwaukee's own second round pick, Malcolm Brogdon, picked 36. He wins Rookie of the Year that year. I mean, Maker has flashes as a rookie. He starts playoff games against Toronto, but his role just shrinks every year. By his third season, he's down to under 12 minutes a game. He asked for a trade. He's just gone from Milwaukee in under 3 years. He finished his career averaging 4.6 points per game, 2.8 rebounds. So yeah, Milwaukee probably thought they were getting Giannis 2.0 to pair with Giannis, but very far from it. But for story number 6, let's talk about this one. Rudy Gobert reshapes the NBA trade market. I'm not saying this was a good trade or a bad trade. It probably was a good trade, if anything. I'm more so saying, remember the time the Timberwolves traded literally everything for Rudy Gobert? So Rudy Gobert, one of the best centers in the NBA, and the team with one of the other best centers in the NBA, they decide, let's team them up. And they trade 5 first-round picks and 5 players to do it. Walker Kessler, who they literally just drafted days before, then Pat Beverly, Malik Beasley, Jared Vanderbilt, and Leandro Balmero. And it looks like a disaster almost immediately. Minnesota goes 42-40. They won 46 games the year before. Gobert punches his own teammate Kyle Anderson during the season. He gets suspended. And then the Timberwolves lose in the first round. And then on the other hand, Walker Kessler finishes 3rd in Rookie of the Year voting. It looks like a massacre, not even a robbery. Until the next year, the Wolves win 56 games. Gobert hits this shot on Jokic. The Wolves reach the WCF for the first time since 2004. And then they do it again the next year. So back-to-back conference finals appearances. So a trade that looks like one of the worst overpays in league history ends up being the thing that turns Minnesota into an actual contender. Next story though. Let's get current real quick. Let's just talk about it for a minute because it's still so unbelievable. Bam Adebayo scores 83 points in a game. I think if that night you told me to guess what player would score 83 in a game, you gave me 650 guesses, I might not say Bam. I might throw out Alec Burks before I say Bam, and I don't even know if Burks is still on the team. But Bam did it, and it was awesome. So March 10th, a couple months ago, Heat Wizards, Bam coming into the game, his career high was 41 points. His season high was 32, and he ends the game with 83. The second most points in a game in NBA history. This guy broke his own career high before halftime. 31 points in the first quarter alone, 43 by halftime, both Heat records, 62 through 3 quarters. At that point, he already had the Heat record for points in a game, but the shooting splits, Man, one of the shooting splits of all time. 20 for 43 from the field, 7 for 22 from 3, 36 for 43 from the line. Both NBA records, makes, and attempts. And I'm not saying the game wasn't awesome, it was awesome. I'm just stating the facts of the game. And I still can't believe this game happened as a whole. Story 8. How about this one? Elfrid Payton's legendary NBA return. So I remember 2024 when the Pelicans signed Elfrid Payton, it was like, whatever. Elfrid Payton was good, but he's not a season changer, especially at this point in his career. Especially with this being his first NBA action in 930 days. And the Pelicans, they're destroyed by injuries like usual. Zion, Ingram, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, they're all out. So out of options, the Pelicans signed a 30-year-old Elfrid Payton. He plays that same night, his first NBA game in over 900 days. He gets 11 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds. A really solid comeback. But then 5 days later, this guy drops 14 points, 21 assists, 7 rebounds. His old career high for assists was 16. And it's the highest assist by anybody in the season. And Halliburton's guarding him that night. He drops 34 and 13 himself. It doesn't matter. Elfrid dropped 21 assists. Tied for the second most in Pelicans history. So the timeline is 900 days out of the league, signed with the Pelicans, plays that night, then 5 days later puts up the best passing game in the NBA that season, and then gets cut 8 days after that. Shout out Elfrid, man. Special player. Even though it's the NBA offseason, there's still plenty of action over at PrizePicks. They've got WNBA, MLB, UFC, and a ton of other sports every single day, so there's always something to watch and always a lineup to build. One pick I took is Asia Wilson to win WNBA Defensive Player of the Year. She's already a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, and if she keeps dominating at that end of the floor, I like her chances to bring home another one. PrizePicks is really easy to use. You can pick more or less on player stats, or if you'd rather pick teams, they've got that now too. Just pick the winner, spread, or total on any game or any fight, lock in your lineup, and you're all set. And make sure to follow me on PrizePicks at 23picks so you can tell my lineups with just one click. If you're a new user, play your first $5 lineup, and if you win, you get $150 in bonus lineups. Just use code HMA when you sign up. That's code HMA on PrizePicks. Thanks again to PrizePicks for sponsoring today's video. Okay, back to the video. For the next one, I want to talk about a series I feel like we forgot how insane it was. The 2016 Hornets Heat series. Honestly, this one is kind of legendary because Purple Shirt Guy, shout out to him. But this series flipped like 70 times. Miami wins the first 2 games by a combined 44 points. Game 1 alone is a 32-point blowout. Looks like a sweep is incoming. Then Charlotte flips the entire series, wins 3 straight, including Game 5 in Miami, 90-88 on a Courtney Lee late 3. Charlotte's now up 3-2. One home win away from their first playoff series win since 2002. So Game 6, Kemba drops 37, and there's this fan sitting courtside in a purple shirt yelling at Dwayne Wade the whole game. Wade is 34 at this point, and he only made 7 threes the entire regular season, so Charlotte is fine letting him shoot. Then, in the fourth quarter, he hits 2 threes. He scores 10 points in the fourth quarter, 23 points total. Miami wins 97-90. So Purple Shirt Guy versus Dwayne Wade becomes the real headline going into Game 7. Then Game 7 happens, and it's not close at all. Miami wins by 33. Charlotte doesn't have a single player score more than 12. So the series goes, Miami wins 2 straight, Charlotte wins 3 straight, Miami wins the last 2. And I think this series might just be so legendary because it was the last time the Hornets came close to winning anything, but they couldn't pull it up. Sorry to any Charlotte, North Carolina residents, or South Carolina residents too. Sorry to you too in association. But what about this story? The Mavs reverse karma. So February 2nd, 2025, everybody remembers where they are when Shams dropped the Luka trade. Dallas was literally coming off a finals run with Luka. And immediately after the trade, the city of Dallas almost burns down. I mean, people are pissed, rightfully so, I guess. That's like the equivalent of the Spurs trading Wemby this season. Anyways, People think the trade is rigged. It makes no sense why Dallas would trade him. Then skip to May, Dallas finishes 39-43. They missed the playoffs, and with a 1.8% odds at the number 1 pick, expected to land number 11, a 77.6% chance they stay at number 11, Dallas gets the number 1 pick. The biggest jump in lottery history, 11 all the way to 1. And obviously there's no evidence of anything, but Dallas, they trade their franchise player, then a couple months later, miraculously, get their new franchise player. Definitely a moment that does not feel real. But let's go back a couple years to the next one. January 2024. Actually, specifically, January 22nd, 2024. Embiid drops 70 on the Spurs, breaks the Sixers franchise record that Wilt held for 56 years, becomes the first player in NBA history with 70 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 assists in the same game. Just an insanely rare game. I mean, it's 70 points. Until 4 days later. 4 days later, January 26th, Luka versus the Hawks, 73 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 25 of 33 shooting, 8 for 13 from the field, breaks his own Dallas franchise record, ties the 4th highest scoring game in NBA history. He becomes only the 3rd player ever with 70 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists, joining David Robinson and Embiid 4 days earlier. And also, the day Embiid got 70, Cat got 62, and the day Luka got 70, Booker scored 62. People forget that. But in 4 days, 2 separate 70-point games. I mean, entire seasons go by without guys scoring 70. This happened twice in less than a week. Story 12. The Hassan Whiteside triple-double run. This was so weird because Hassan Whiteside, this guy just came out of nowhere. He was a guy that just kept getting cut on teams. Then randomly, the Heat give him a chance, and he does something, I don't know. First off, Hassan Whiteside, his career assist average is 0.6 per game. Just remember that. Then January 2015 against Chicago, he comes off the bench. He drops 14 points, 13 rebounds, 12 blocks in under 25 minutes. 0 assist. He sets the Heat franchise record for blocks in a game, a triple-double with blocks, and then he does it 3 more times. Add up all 4 games, he has 43 total blocks, 2 total assists. The Hassan Whiteside block triple-double stretch, legendary stuff. But how about a different perspective for the next one? Just Ben Wallace's career as a whole. So 1996, Ben Wallace enters the NBA draft, and nobody selects him. Yup, not me, not you, no one. And the reason, he's only 6'9", he's a center. And he goes and plays professionally in Italy for a bit. He ends up making the roster in Washington, then gets traded to Orlando. Then Orlando trades him to Detroit as part of the package to get Grant Hill. And Wallace, well, he becomes Ben Wallace. 2002, he leads the entire NBA in rebounds and blocks in the same season, while averaging 7.6 points. He wins Depoy. Then the next season, he averages 15.4 rebounds per game, still under 7 points per game, and he makes the All-Star team and wins Depoy again. 2004, he beats Shaq in the championship. He ends up winning 2 more Depoys after that, and he ends his career averaging 5.7 points a game, a 4-time Depoy, 4-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA, 6-time All-Defense, the Pistons' all-time leader in blocks. And in 2021, he became the first ever undrafted player ever inducted into the Hall of Fame. A guy every single team in the league passed on, ends with more Defensive Player of the Year awards than anyone who's ever played. Elite basketball player, Ben Wallace. But what about this? 16 games played together. So 2021, the Nets, they have an actual big 3 of James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant. 3 of the greatest basketball players ever, all in their primes together. I mean, it gotta be one of the best big 3s ever. Except, the final tally for the entire era, 16 games played together. 13 wins, 3 losses, 364 total minutes shared. I feel like everybody remembers this big 3. I mean, it's Kyrie, KD, and Harden. It's like a staple. Except, they just didn't play together. They only played 8 regular season games together the first year, Then the playoffs, round 1 against Boston, they're finally healthy, and Brooklyn wins the series. Game 4, Durant drops 42, Kyrie drops 39, Harden has 23 and 18 assists, 104 points combined from these 3 guys. Then round 2 against Milwaukee, Harden hurts his hamstring 43 seconds into the game, Kyrie hurts his ankle in game 4. Then the next season, they play literally 2 games together. Just a big 3 that could have been like the best ever, plays 16 games together. All-time fumble. Story 15, the 3-1 comeback. I know this story's been told a trillion times, but I couldn't leave it out. Golden State just went 73-9, the best regular season record ever. Curry becomes the first unanimous MVP ever. They're the defending champs, and they already beat the Cavs in the finals the year before. Then the Warriors go up 3-1. All the Cavs need to do is beat them in 3 straight games to win it. Sounds easy. Game 5 in Oakland, LeBron drops 41, Kyrie drops 41. The first teammates ever to both score 40 in a finals game. The Cavs win. Series is now 3-2. Game 6, back in Cleveland, LeBron goes for 41 again. Back-to-back 41-point games and elimination games. Cavs win again. Series tied 3-3. Game 7, back in Oakland, tied at 89 with under 2 minutes left. LeBron chases down Iggy and blocks him. Kyrie hits the game winner over Curry. Cavs win the series in 7. The first team ever to come back down 3-1 in the finals. LeBron finishes with a triple-double in Game 7, ends Cleveland's 52-year championship drought across every major sport, and Golden State's historic 73-win season ends with nothing to show for it. The best regular season team ever. Actually, a whole game was dedicated to a team that didn't even win at all. All because they couldn't beat Richard Jefferson in the finals. But now, the last story. And for this one, let's go back to where we started, the NBA bubble. And this time, the bubble duel. Donovan Mitchell versus Jamal Murray in the 2020 bubble. So the Nuggets and Jazz, they got a series versus each other. And game 1, Mitchell drops 57 points, the 3rd highest scoring game in NBA playoff history at the time. He breaks Karl Malone's scoring playoff record for the Jazz by 7 points, and Utah still loses that game. Murray drops 36, and Denver takes it in overtime. Utah wins game 2, they blow out Denver in game 3. Then game 4 happens, Mitchell scores 51, Murray scores 50, the same game. The first time 2 opposing players ever both hit 50 in a playoff game. And Utah wins by 2, they take a 3-1 series lead. Denver's 1 loss away from elimination. So what happens? Jamal Murray, he drops 42 in game 5, Denver survives. Then game 6, Murray goes for, a late 50. Mitchell still drops 44 that same game and loses anyway. Both guys end up with 2 50-point games against each other in that series. Murray averages over 47 points a game across games 4 through 6. Combined, Mitchell and Murray score 475 points across the whole series. Then game 7 happens, and after the 6 games that felt like video game numbers, it ends 80-78. Jokic gets the go-ahead bucket late, Mike Conley gets a look to almost win the series, it rims out, and Denver survives, completing the 3-1 comeback. And after the game, Murray's the one who helps Mitchell up off the floor. 2 guys who just spent a week trying to outscore each other completely. One of the best series ever. But if you guys enjoyed this, I would genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. It's the only thing that lets me know you guys want me to keep posting on here. Thank you for watching.